Good morning and welcome to Where Entrepreneurs Thrive. My name is Russ Nolting. On this week's episode, we're speaking with Pam Kiker to discover how she became an entrepreneur and how she's thriving at Keller Williams. Pam, welcome to the podcast.
Good morning, Russ, and thank you. I was very, very excited to do this with you.
I'm so excited that you're here today. So tell us your story. How'd you get into real estate and how'd you find your way to Keller Williams?
So here's what I'm going to tell you first. I know what you're doing with these podcasts and how you're choosing people. So the first one was Gay Ribble. So she's one of the biggest producers in all of the country. The second one was Matt Lee, and he's the youngest OP. And today you have Pam Kiker, who's the oldest OP in the region.
You just had a big birthday, Pam.
Yeah, I know. So last Friday, the 28th, was my 75th birthday. And I have had the honor of being with Keller Williams for the last 30 years, right here in this DTC office. So my story is like many others. I'm actually a third generation realtor. My grandfather was a builder and developer in Amarillo, Texas. And nobody ever thinks I'm from upstate New York when they talk to me for just a little while. So that's where it all came from Amarillo. Then my dad was had his own brokerage and was a builder there. And then me, and then Chris Kiker, who has been on my team, or the Kiker team. I'm on his team now, actually, for the last 24 years. He's fourth generation. And some of his little guys might be our fifth generation. So we come by the real estate business naturally. When I moved to Denver, we moved every time we had a baby. We didn't quite figure that out, but after we had our fourth baby, we were here. And I decided I would go into meeting planning and conventions. So I would handle groups for about 15 years down in Larimer Square that came into Colorado. So I was getting to know the state. I would handle groups from 40 to 40,000. Wow. And love that business. I did it for 15 years. And then I decided I was ready for something different. I honestly didn't think about going into real estate and like my family had been until I read an article about Keller Williams in the newspaper. And the original Keller Williams office in Denver was about 5 minutes from my house. And it talked about things like the Agent Leadership Council, the fact that we're audited, that we have a culture like nobody else. And I thought, well, I don't know if I really want to go into real estate or not, but I'll go talk to these guys. So I went to talk to Jim Slinkard. I was the third hire for Keller Williams Realty in Colorado. And I was one of the first 700 agents in the country. And when you think about that, in 30 years, we've grown from 700-ish agents to 176,000 in the country. And what are we in 57 countries now? Something like that.
Something like that.
205,000 agents. So in those 30 years, I've grown a lot. So got into the business after I talked to Jim, and Jim Waldrop was the first OP that we had. And we've actually only had really 2 OPs for long-term in 30 years and 2 team leaders long-term in 30 years. So we're fairly stable here, and we've had lots and lots of fun. Independent agent for the first 5 years. And then I thought, I've heard about this team thing. And I went to the original family reunion. Well, I went to Houston, then I went to Amelia Island, and I saw Judy Johns and her husband and Coach and the kids, her boys. And they said, this family team deal is really interesting. So on the airplane on the way back, I thought, what if I got my family involved? So Chris Kiker was up in Vail. He was a ski instructor, guitar player, and a bartender. And today, after 24 years, I look at him sometime and I wonder if maybe that was the life he really wanted to lead. But I got Chris on the team, and I even got my mom involved. When you get a family involved, you can have a lot of fun with it. So she baked fresh chocolate cakes for every single closing that we had. And she did that for about 25 years. So lots and lots of cakes there, about 120 cakes a year. She got that recipe down. Then I was lucky enough to meet Tony Carnesi. And Tony came into the team became our general manager. And we grew and we grew and we grew. So I've had teams from 2 people to about 15 people and everything in between. So when I had the opportunity about 16 years ago to become operating principal, the gentleman, Don Yoakum, who was operating principal then, said, Pam, you want to buy this? You want to do this? And I said, man, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. And one thing I know about Keller Williams is that if you don't know how to do something, there's models, there's systems, there's training, there's teaching, there's the culture to encourage you while you learn how to do that. So I did that about 16 years ago, and I've had a lot of fun with the business, a lot of fun growing the market center in my own team, and never ever was I sad that I went into what became my family business. Have had a great time doing it.
That's awesome. So 16 years ago, what year was that approximately?
Well, I came into Keller Williams in 93. And actually that's the 30th anniversary of our market center and
Yeah.
my 30th anniversary with KW. So 16 years ago, 19 or 2000 and I don't even know what.
07, 08, something
Yeah,
like that.
somewhere around. So it wasn't boring right then, right?
Right. That's what I was
Came
thinking.
into a business, and we have never, ever borrowed one penny for this market center. We've always been stable financially so that we could do, or with my own personal business. And I think when you talk about, and we'll talk about a little bit when entrepreneurs thrive, that's one of the things we do. We take on a lot of risk for the reward that we get. And so that time we never blinked, never closed an eye, never closed down, recruited agents and had a really good, profitable market center for all that time, even in 06, 07.
Right.
Years.
So in 93, you joined Keller Williams Market Center 30.
Number 30.
Number 30.
Yep.
And do I recall that is that the first non-Texas and Oklahoma market center?
Yes, correct. Yeah. There was Omnivest had a small beginning of Keller Williams down in Cherry Creek, but we were really the first market center.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, we didn't have a lot of teaching and training and all the systems and models that we have now, but we had a group of people that wanted to go the same direction, wanted to do something different. We were the new game in town, and of course, Remax is headquartered here. So for many years, it was kind of Keller who.
Right.
And then we
so Judy, who I know in Kansas City, Judy introduced you to this idea of the family team. But I think you beat her to the no, I guess did she become an OP before you?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it might have been right about the same time, but we've and on Facebook, and we're great friends on Facebook, and we've lived a little bit of the same journe. Because the coach and the kids and the OP, and we've really grown up. We've grown our families up in Keller Williams and have had a lot of in fact, I saw her comment when she saw I was going to do this. We've had a lot of the same experiences and have been blessed enough to be in this company, honored enough to be in this company for 30 years. Yeah.
So Pam, 2006, 7, 8, you become the OP during a recession. Right. And today it's 2023. Tell us what your world looks like today. I mean, what is your day in and day out?
So I sold the team to Chris about 2.5 years ago. And one of the things that KW teaches us is how to leave a legacy, how to have a business that you can retire with. And so about 2.5 years ago, I sold the business to Chris, which allowed me to be on this side of the hall in the market center in this office. And on my day-to-day, I work a lot with the leadership team. However, I work a lot just on the oversight, because when you have a great talented team leader, and I've had several, they run the show. They do everything that they need to do. What I have an opportunity to do on a day in and day out basis is just mentor people. I have fun. I laugh. I carry on. I'm here when I want to be. I get to take vacations when I want to. Right. But my responsibility is to make sure that team leader is the right team leader, to have the vision for the market center, and to make sure that we're financially stable. So after all these years in the same place, I've watched us grow. I've watched us change. And one of the things I probably bring to the market center as much as anybody else is energy. When I walk in that door, no matter what's going on in my life, I bring energy to the market center so that we can do the best we can do that single day. So I'm not in every single meeting. I walked in today and Janice was doing her stand-up with the whole leadership team. We had 9 or 10 people there, and they were going through their day. They were saying happy birthday to the agents. They do the day-to-day. If you're lucky, they do the day-to-day at a high level. And I just get to participate when they ask me to, or when I'd like to sit in on something. So my day-to-day, I mean, I'm living the dream. I honestly live in the dream. I'm a lucky lady, lucky lady.
Absolutely. So as far as like reporting, Janice, your team leader, who runs the office really, and kind of oversees everything, she directly reports to you. Does anyone else directly report to you?
Not really. We have the org chart set up where Janice is at the top. So me, my agent leadership council, then Janice. And Janice has 3 reports under her. She has Debbie Sakagawa, who's our market center administrator. Debbie has our front desk and her assistant MCA. Then Janice has our director of production, and he's Mark Jessup is the head of all of our teaching and training and coaching systems. Then we have Kate Kiker, who I'm lucky enough to have as my daughter-in-law, and Kate and Chris, and now I have 2 little realtors, and Matt and Haley. So this deal's been really good for my life, right?
Yeah.
But Kate's the head of our legal department. She runs all the compliance, and she runs our brokers of the day, which is a very successful day-to-day a system that helps the agents when they have questions. So really, just like Gary Keller always says, if you have 3 reports, that's all you need to change your life. Janice is the one who's changing my life right now.
Yeah. Pam, what changes have you seen in your market center as a longtime OP? I think people might be curious, like what changes have you seen in the market center area of KW in recent years?
Well, I think one of the best things about KW is that we're flexible. We have to change when the market changes. When you start a company with one model and the market changes, and you want to have the very best people that you can have in these market centers in the business, you must change with it. So we must have different models to fit different real estate brokers, whether they're dependent, independent, or interdependent. We have all those models now almost always inside every single market center, because when we started, we were about a lot of new agents because we were Keller Who. So we'd get a lot of new agents that needed certain kind of training. Then we grew these to our exciting middle group of agents. And now we have top agents in the country. So I think the thing that mostly has changed is the support of the agents, no matter where they are. I think I've seen that more than anything else. Other than that, and I always think about this, you kind of come full circle in your life and full circle in a business. You must have a solid foundation. The other night I had the opportunity to have dinner on my birthday with Chris Kiker and Sam, who runs the Kiker team, but also Gay Ribble was there, Helen Bovin was there, and Diana Nelson Peterson were there. All 3 of those ladies have had their families in the business with them. They all run their businesses very, very differently. And I was thinking about that. They're all way successful in their own right. And what do they have that's the common denominator other than the culture? And I believe that this is where Keller Williams stays. The standards. The standards are what they start with in their business, and they build that business in any way that they'd like. So that was a lot of fun. We laughed and carried on and talked about all the things that we'd accomplished in our business. But I believe that if the standards and the culture stay the same, if you come back to basics and you have those things, that any business will be able to sustain if you can change with the way the business is done. And I've seen that change, I think, more than anything else. Absolutely.
So, Pam, shifting gears a little bit to the title of this podcast, Where Entrepreneurs Thrive. I actually got the idea to put this podcast together after Gary announced this new update to our mission. He said that our purpose would be to build the place where entrepreneurs thrive. What are your thoughts around KW as the real estate company where entrepreneurs thrive?
So I'm kind of nerdy in a lot of ways, so listen to this. So definition of an entrepreneur is a person who organizes and manages any enterprise, especially a business, usually with considerable initiative and risk. So there's the entrepreneur part of it. And the thrive part of it, definition, to prosper, to be fortunate or successful. And I believe that we have enough parts in Keller Williams, enough systems, models, and enough support that when I said to Don Yoakum, man, I don't know if I can do this or not. I took a big risk. He said, you're going to owe me this much money and you've got to pay me back in 5 years and all that. And I thought, holy moly, I don't know how to do this. But I have prospered, I have thrived, and I've been very successful because Keller Williams allows us to be our own person. It's not about the company with KW. In fact, that's one of the things that was interesting in the newspaper article that I read first, is that it's about the independent agent. So as I decided to be the operating principal, if I decided to run my own team, if I wanted, no matter what I want to do, KW has the systems to support it. So I believe that that entrepreneur thriving piece is really what we've always done. We maybe just put a name on it now that all of us are able, if we're very, very lucky to live.
Yeah. Absolutely. Pam, what's your secret sauce? I mean, when people look at you, what's the thing that you do better than anyone else in the business?
Not sure that I do anything better than anybody in the business, but one of the things that I do bring in secret sauce is my energy and my excitement and my ability to see talent and support it. Karen Prawl was on my team many, many years ago, and everybody knows Karen Prawl, and Tony and Chris and all these people who have become giants in the business that have been there for a long time. So I can see talent and support it really, really easily. And the other thing I think I do as well or better than anybody else, I'm very responsive. I don't wait until noon to call back or 5 until I, text somebody back. If somebody needs to talk to me about something, I'm there, and I'm there quickly. And I'm proud of that. I think that to take care of people the way they need to be taken care of, to meet them where they are, is really important. So that's probably one of my best things. I'm not sure I'm better at it than anybody else, but I'm darn good at it.
Yeah. I think about my personal experience with your, with you. I've received texts from you very late at night and very early in the morning in response to things that I've sent to you. And one of my favorite Pam Kiker stories, I'm not sure I've ever shared this with you, but the day I met you in maybe October or November, probably October of 2021, I put my hand out to shake yours, and you batted it away and gave me a warm hug, which I won't forget when I think about you. And I think that's really the environment that I see in your market center.
Yeah. Well, I want it to be a comfortable place to be. I don't want people to have to come here. And, after COVID, and should we be in the office or should we be at home, or where are we working? I think we're always going to have a little bit of both. But anybody who's here, if I see somebody and I don't say hello to them, I'm really trying with these names with a lot of people now, but if I can't hug them and say, you're welcome here, and this is the place I want you to enhance your life through your business. If I can't do that, then we're not doing the right thing. And Janice and the leadership team is very, very good at extending that vision, while we're going to be one team, one dream, and do all the things we need to do to be successful. I guess everybody has to know what success is to them. And if I can support that for their livelihood, I'm always here to do that with a hug, usually. I don't know if I would knock the hand out of everybody, but I would always hug them for sure. So I've had the honor to do that.
Pam, your market center has agents ranging from fresh out of school, have never sold a home, barely passed the exam, to Gay Ribble, who we interviewed on this podcast a few weeks ago, who was, I believe, the number 3 expansion spoke in all of Keller Williams with like 4.2 million in GCI.
Right.
What do you tell the new agent when they come in? And, if someone says, hey, you've been in this business for 30 years and you're at really the pinnacle of leadership in the real estate industry, what's your advice to those new agents?
I think they're so overwhelmed with all the stuff. I tell them every single time, we can teach you how to sell real estate. We can teach you about contracts. We can teach you about negotiation. What I want you to do, just like you've always done for your whole life, is continue to build relationships. Because if you have those relationships with friends and family, you'll be fine. Don't get so caught up in the stuff And we've got to teach them all the stuff. We got to watch them with all the stuff. But I want them to be enthusiastic about being able to continue doing what they've done for their whole lives. So I start them there. And I think that the best realtors, from our brand new agents on to Gay, are the ones that are the best relationship builders.
Yeah.
And I think Gay said on our podcast that probably half of the business that they do, a little bit less than half now because her team is getting so big, but she does probably 80 transactions of her own people, of her own sphere of influence, every single year by herself. So she never gave up the relationships that she had. And she established a real relationship with Sarah Reynolds that has led her to where she is today. So I don't think that there's anything that Gay can do that a brand new agent can't do, as long as they concentrate on what they do best, which is that relationship building. So it's a pretty simple conversation with me. It's not too complicated. I let the rest of them get into the teaching and training.
Yeah. Do you see in our current environment where people are more conversing the way you and I are right now digitally? I mean, we're 900 miles away from each other right now. Do you see that relationship dynamic changing?
Yes, a little bit, I guess. I mean, this is cool that we can do this 900 miles away.
Yeah.
But the very best are when we're person to person, but we can't do that. We can't even expect to be able to do that all the time. What this has allowed us to do is teaching and training and support and inspiration and motivation all the time. Yeah. With just watching Facebook Live, which we might be doing right now. I think Katie said it's
yeah, we've got a bunch of people watching with us, actually.
Good. So it's something that has changed, and out of necessity, it will stay. But I still like to give hugs. I still would rather do it in person if we have the choice. And so in the market center, we've had to decide which things will we Zoom live, which won't we, because we want them to come in. And we kind of have a mix of both of those things. It's a great way to learn. I mean, even when we had to do family reunions and mega camps and things like that, at least we were still together if it was only digitally. So I think both of them are important.
Absolutely. So when I look at your roster, as I mentioned a minute ago, obviously you guys bring in brand new agents all the time. And at the same time, you've got some of the top performers in all of Keller Williams in your market center. I'm curious how you keep those top performers with you and keep them happy and keep them feeling like KW DTC is a place where they can grow.
A lot of hugging. No, you know what? We have to meet them where they are, whatever the training is. Top performers are very independent. Typically, I think you're gonna talk to Jackie maybe next week or in the next
Jackie
next
Stratton.
few weeks with Jackie Stratton. Jackie has a set of talents that not too many other real estate agents do, and she has a ton of referral business. So Jackie, when she needs something from me, it's a very specific something. So I'm responsive to her as quickly as I can. Gay is different, Diana's different, and the brand new agents are different. When you have a market center of, say, 450, if we just made the numbers round, you have 150 newish agent. You've got about 150 in that exciting middle place, which by the way, if that's where they want to be, if somebody in this market wants to do 7 to 10 deals a year and make 150K, that's awesome. That's where we should be supporting them. Yep. And then the big teams, they need different things. In fact, I think on the 3rd, we're having a meeting with just our teams, because we can have teams from 3 people to 33 people, and we need to know what they need at each one of those levels. So we're very purposeful in looking at the different people we have, at the different groups of people, breaking them down to one at a time, doing one-on-one coaching. In fact, we have a new coaching program, 30, 60, 90, where we do a passport is the training and teaching piece of it. And then we have a 30, 60, 90 where it's accountability, because you can teach people in this business when they're brand new, but you might catch them wandering around the parking lot because they don't know actually what they're supposed to be doing next. Right. So the 30, 60, 90 that Mark and Abby are doing, accountability once a week. Have you done these things to be successful? Do you have 201 plus in your database? Where are you with command? So we've got that kind of coaching. We've got coaching for the biggest people as well as MAPS coaching. But I'm really diligent about making sure we're taking care of these people one at a time, no matter which group they're in. And we have a good sized leadership team, so we're able to do that at a high level, and they enjoy that too.
Yeah, you mentioned coaching, and so many top performers at KW have coaches.
Yes.
What's your relationship been with coaching?
So I've had the same MAPS coach really since I started being AOP. Mike Fleming's been my MAPS coach, and he's led me through all these different changes. The coaches are there to listen and find out who you are and how you can be the best you can be. The productivity coaching process has grown in Keller Williams inside the market centers. And the PC coaching is awesome for people until they get to a certain level where MAPS coaches really help them. I think mentoring and coaching, because others have lived before us, Gary tells us that all the time. He also says you fail forward. When you have a coach, it's easier to scrape your knees on something when you're failing forward and you're learning something. So I think that the outside influence, the training and the coaching that you guys are providing in the region is awesome. If you have that, you can get to that next level a little faster. If you don't have it, this could be a lonely business. Could be a very lonely business. And I try to help the people within the market center not experience that as much as possible with coaching, training, mentoring that we do.
Sure. Well, we're close to the end of our time. I'm wondering, is there anything else you want to share with our audience?
So, yes, as a matter of fact, since I had the questions ahead of time, there's a book that Liz Waldman asked me if I'd read, and Liz is one of our ALC members, one of our top teams, and it's called The Four Agreements. If you haven't read it, it's just a simple way to live your life, and I try to do this. 4 pieces to it. It says, be impeccable with your word. If there's one thing that I love, it's trust. And impeccable with your word is a big deal to me. Don't take anything personally. In this business, if the thing doesn't happen, we take it real personally, right? Yeah. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. And that's easy to do. And always do your best. So if we could all live by those, and thank you, Liz, for telling me about that book. If we could all live by those 4 agreements, we would be able to experience success at whatever level success means a lot to us.
Absolutely. I haven't read that book yet. I've heard those points, and it makes me think about agent to agent relationships. Like, what would it look like if we were all impeccable with our word? If we didn't make assumptions? I mean, yes, smart life skills in there.
Yeah, it would change our lives forever if all of our world, all of our government, all our politicians, all of our business people did those 4 things. Our world would look differently. But I've been honored to be in this part of our world for the last 30 years, and I appreciate very much the opportunity to do this.
Awesome. Well, Pam, thank you so much for being generous with your time and sharing your entrepreneurial journey at KW. We really appreciate you.
My experience. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Take care.